Hey guys, this is Matt Winning at winningstrength.com, and today I'm going to show you some of my favorite tricep exercises. Now, believe it or not, triceps can be the limiting factor in military presses, bench presses, and almost every type of pressing movement you can think of. But oftentimes our library of what we use for triceps is limited, and the way we approach the exercises is also limited. So before we get to the video, please like, subscribe, and comment on some tricep exercises that's helped you break either bench press plateaus or military press plateaus. For those of you that don't know, I've been able to bench press over 500 pounds for 25 years with zero shoulder injuries. Furthermore, I was able to bench press well over 600 pounds in multiple competitions after squatting all-time world records. But because all of that experience I've had has allowed me to really dive in and see which exercises are key for triceps, and I want to share with you those today. Now, a couple of these you may have seen before, but I'm going to show you how to implement them in a different environment to help you put on more muscle mass and also protect your body. Because if you want to get bigger and you want to get stronger, the real trick is not having to train around injuries. As soon as you injure a shoulder, an elbow, or a wrist or anything of that nature, you're going to have to back off your training until it's healed. So the best way to be prepared to put on more muscle and more strength is to not work around injuries. People that work around injuries on a consistent basis tells me a few things. One, they don't know how to train, and two, that they're utilizing an overtraining system that's probably using the same exercises too much, too often. Now, the same can be hand positions, it can be tempos, it can be body positions, it can be all kinds of different things. It can be bilateral or unilateral. So what we want to do is we want to mix it up, and I'm going to show you the top exercises that I have used in the last 25 years to hit those big goals. The first exercise is a cross-body cable tricep pushdown. Now, cross-body means that this cable is coming across my body. Notice that my knuckles are facing away from me and I'm pushing straight down. Now, this exercise, no matter how much I try to use my shoulder, my shoulder's not gonna help. What I also notice too is that it keeps my rear delt super locked in, and it makes sure that my technique is near flawless. I can't really lean in and help. I can't roll my shoulder forward and help. This is an exercise we would use with a lot of beginners, but I use it all the way up to 600-pound bench press. So the key to doing this exercise, in my opinion, is to hold the lockout for 1 second and make sure you control the eccentric. Controlling the eccentric allows you to have a little bit more time under tension, therefore developing a little bit more muscle mass and a lot more pressing strength. The next exercise is a TRX Overhead tricep extension. Now, you can use Olympic rings. You could use a lot of different things to set this up. I really like the TRX handles for this, and I like to use the straps because it makes it a little longer and therefore a little difficult. Depending on how far you walk back will depend on how heavy you want it to be. So if you're just beginning, you're going to want to stand kind of upright, and if you're experienced, you're going to want to stand a little back. This will give you more weight over your body. Now, how to do the exercise, this is tricky. So when you come back, notice my knuckles are just like a straight bar until about here. And once I get here, I'm going to turn it like a hammer and then backwards, and then I'm going to straighten it back out like a straight bar. So notice, straight, turn, backwards, forward. This is a killer tricep exercise. All the way back, turn, reverse, back. This is one of the best ways to do an overhead tricep extension, and you get strong at these, your pressing strength will go up. The next one is a football bar roll under. Now, what you want to do is have this in J-hooks to where this bar can move. So as you can see, it can turn and twist. Now, as soon as I put weight against it, it's going to stay right up against the rack. Now, this is going to be beneficial for putting on muscle mass, but it's going to make this exercise very difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to back away almost into a push-up position. And then what I'm going to do is as I go down, I'm going to let this bar turn with me so I'm not absorbing it in my wrists. Very similar to that TRX exercise, but brutal. Now, you can do this with a straight bar, but I recommend the hammer grip because for most of you guys, you train with a straight bar for a lot of pressing exercises. So how do we keep elbow mileage down and train triceps all the time? It's real simple, hand position. So if you buy a football bar, I suggest getting one from Elite FTS. If you buy a football bar, it has more uses than just bench pressing alone. This is one of the top tricep exercises. And when I was at my strongest, I would use about 80 to 120 pounds of chain around my neck for sets of 12 to 15. Give that a shot and let me know how you go. But if you're just starting, your body weight will be more than enough for this exercise to put on some big mass on your triceps.
Playgirl magazine, and I did it. I did a full spread for Playgirl magazine.
No, this isn't a shop for Hustler or Penthouse, but I'm going to show you a killer tricep exercise. So what you want to do is lay on your side, keep your elbow up high, keep your elbow pointed to the ceiling, keep your wrist tight, and then straighten it into the air. This is another exercise that you really can't cheat. Now I like to go into the throat on this, keeps my elbow up high. If I go down here and I get tired, I start dropping. Keep it up high and keep it in your throat and it stays right in your tricep. The other thing I really like about this exercise is it forces my rear delt to lock my shoulder in. And if I'm having shoulder pain or pinches, then I really do this exercise more often because I can't really feel it in my shoulder. A lot of times the AC joint, especially in the front end, gets abused bench pressing and overhead pressing quite a bit. This exercise builds shoulder stabilization while building massive triceps. The next exercise is the JM press, but it's done kind of at a stability on steroids. And this is done with a bamboo bar, which is going to increase the kinetic energy. And it's also done with hanging kettlebells. And this makes this exercise 10 times harder than doing normal JM presses, but it's also really good for stabilization. So I want to show you how to do it. There's a couple different variants of ways we can do this. So the first thing on the JM press is we always want to kind of be in a narrow grip. We want to kind of back away a little bit further away than we would do a normal bench press. And then we take it out just like we're going to bench. We keep our wrists pretty straight. And then what we do is we go about halfway down and then we can roll to the throat and up. We can halfway down and roll to the mouth and up, or we can roll halfway down and go to the eyebrows and up. A couple different ways to do it. It's going to hit the elbow just a little bit different. Personally, if I were going to do one, I would probably only do it to the throat. We do the others on occasion on the Patreon and on the Train Heroic app. But you can see my stabilizer is having to work much harder. Now this is going to limit the amount of weight I can do on this exercise, but it's also going to make sure that my stability muscles are at 100%. So in closing, the real reason we want to get our triceps super strong is think about this in perspective. In the last 30 years, I've only seen a handful of people with torn triceps. And most of the time that was come from equipped benching in bench shirts. But how many times have we heard people hurt their shoulder on bench pressing or military pressing? Nearly every week. A lot of top athletes have shoulder issues. A lot of top powerlifters have shoulder issues. And it's not uncommon why. It's a very small joint that takes a lot of torque and it has very small connections. And so by that process, it's always prone to being injured, attached to the pec, attached to the lat, attached to the front delt, attached to the bicep. All these areas get a lot of work under extreme conditions, and the shoulder is usually a limiting factor. The stronger we make the triceps, the more protected the shoulders are, and that's why I've been able to stay away from tricep injuries for so many years. I would say that probably out of almost everyone I know, I've been able to bench 500 pounds longer than anyone ever in lifting, or at least close to it. And how did I do that? I focus at least 30 to 40% of my training upper body to tricep strength alone. So if you need more information, go on to winningstrength.com. Check out some of the manuals we have, or hop on Patreon top tier and do the exact workouts that we're doing in the gym. Or you can follow Train Heroic, which has got more tutorial videos that we don't post as much of on Patreon. Either way, you're going to be a huge winner at a minimal budget. If you don't have a budget and you're trying to get as good as you can get, come on to Custom Online Coaching and we'll design everything from scratch based on your needs, your equipment, and your time availability. Talk to you guys soon.